just as unfathomable as Arkansas beating Texas A&M with their quarterback and their number one receiver going out in that game.
Yeah. Is there any? I haven't looked to see. Is there any word on whether or not either of them are coming back? I haven't seen their injury.
I believe KJ is coming back, their quarterback, but I have not heard
on the receiver. Well, it's interesting. I love to cruise the Twitter feed on college game day or during college football games, because you really get to see what the fan base is saying from each team. And a lot of Texas A&M fans are talking about how, the only reason that Arkansas was playing so well against Texas A&M is because Texas A&M lost their, starting quarterback. Now, this was towards the end of the game, after Arkansas had lost their quarterback
and still continued to beat them.
Correct. So, and you have to give it to Texas A&M too, because at one point they got it within one score, and it kept looking like the momentum was going to shift, but they just never could get a hold of it and push it through. That Arkansas defense is
smothering.
It is a nasty monster that any team that faces them is going to struggle with. You would imagine. I think this game against Georgia is going to be something that is going to be really telling about both teams. I don't think Georgia's seen an offense as talented as Arkansas's. I don't think that their defense is better than Clemson's defense, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Now, this weekend will really tell the tale. It's hard to make a prediction on that because, we haven't seen them against each other. So.
Yeah, I want to give mad props to Sam Pittman, man. He was never a coach, never a head coach, never a coordinator, not literally just an O-line coach since 1991. And he's come in and literally done the impossible.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with a friend, and he's a very dear buddy. And we were talking about this dude, Sam Pittman, who obviously has no business being a head coach anywhere. I laughed at him when I found out that they had hired some unknown coach from out of nowhere. But this dude, man, he is owning his position, and he inherited a mess.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 years leading up to it, Arkansas went 4-8, 2-10, 2-10, and then last year they went 3-7.
It kind of makes you wonder: does a team like Southern Cal take notice of that? Do they think, do we go after a big name coach who, like has been standard lately? Look at Nebraska, for example. They go after Scott Frost after all of his success at Central Florida, and then he goes up there and, man, what a mess that is.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, Nebraska has played competitive football. They just can't seem to get it done. They can't seem to get over that win in the end.
I think Scott Frost is right there on the edge. I think that it's one of those, once he gets his full, because it's a really good argument that people make, but these recruiting classes, most of these coaches, they're coming in and they're using someone else's recruiting class. Look at Josh Heupel in Tennessee. He's not competing because he's using Jeremy Pruitt's recruits. He's playing with someone else's players, trying to fit his system.
Right.
And that's really hard to do. And everybody makes fun of these coaches, or they're saying, oh, this is a bad coach or whatever. But you remember when Saban came in?
Yeah.
We had a 6-7 year and then a 7-5 year. And then that third year is when we went to the national championship and went 13-0. But then the next year we fell right back off. We won 10 games. And then we came back the following 2 years, won 2 national championships, and then, kind of fell back off again for about 3 years. There was 3 years where we weren't 100% competing, and people forget about that, though.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. What do you think it is about the Saban recruits that make them so dominant in football? Because personally, I don't think it's that he just recruits top tier talent. Now, they're usually top 5, over the past however long. Alabama's had top 5 recruiting classes, but they were winning before they got those.
Yeah.
That's just a consequence of winning football. When you win a bunch of games and you win national championships and win bowl games and stuff like that, you're going to recruit high-level players. But personally, it seems to me that the type of players that he recruits have a different character And I think that Saban recruits a certain character. There's a story that I've heard. I believe it was Derrick Henry is the player. It was one of the running backs, but I'm pretty sure it was Derrick Henry. And he had been recruited by pretty much every college in the nation. And everybody had said, if you come to our school, you'll be the starting running back day one. And Saban, in pure Saban fashion, said, I'm not going to promise you that you'll play, but I will give you an opportunity to compete for the job. And that's what won him over.
Yeah.
Recruiting that character, like a guy who's ready to come compete, who's not just wanting you to promise him that he'll get playing time, but who's ready to come fight for it.
Yeah.
And that's getting that type of player who has the talent, but also doesn't just want you to hand it to him. Those type of players do something different on the field because they're not just going to leave you high and dry when they don't get their way. You know what I mean?
Some do.
Well,
I mean, some of these guys, and I'll look at Blake Barnett.
They're not all winners, obviously, and you can miss the mark here and there. I just mean for the overwhelming majority of it, I think that's what he does. I think he recruits their character first. But that's just my opinion.
Any good coach though, like Saban don't look at the guys that are just super talented. He looks at the guys that are going to be in the classroom and that are going to set examples in the classroom. Most of the people that graduate from the University of Alabama have 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. Some have 4.0 GPAs.
Right.
Some of them graduate early, a year earlier than what they're supposed to.
Right.
And
so he's just not going after somebody just because they're super talented. He's going after them for everything.
And look at the past three quarterbacks, man. Before they went into the NFL, all three of them, Jalen, Tua, and Mac Jones, all graduated before they went to the NFL.
I'm pretty sure Mac had a master's, didn't he? I can't remember.
I can't guarantee you anything on that.
It is not that matters.
But I want to get back to this Arkansas thing, and
that's
go
ahead.
What we're
Sorry,
kind of seeing.
I got it off on that tangent.
Well, no, that's what we're kind of seeing with Sam Pittman, though.
Right.
Like he's seen what Saban's done. He's seen what Les Miles did at LSU. He's seen what is that coach that's at Florida now, Dan Mullen.
Yeah,
he's done it at two different schools now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just done it at one; he's done it at two. And Sam
because
Pittman's seen these
when
guys.
Mullen went to Mississippi State, they were competitive. I mean, they didn't win a national championship or anything like that, but they were competitive. You didn't just expect to go in and beat them every weekend.
And Kirby, can't forget about Kirby.
Oh yeah, Kirby's smart, of course.
Kirby is smart.
Kirby is Georgia football.
Yeah, he's the embodiment, and I think that's another thing that people, especially fan bases like Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I got the pleasure to go to an Arkansas game in Arkansas. It was Arkansas versus Alabama, and those fans, man, are unreal. Like
it's a whole different
Alabama
thing.
fans, they have fun, they ha ha roo, but like
Alabama fans are spoiled.
70,000 people in a stadium doing that pig suey chant, and it's so annoying. But I promise you, dude, they all love it. And
I have to find a
guy. You have to find a guy though that's going to come in and honor their tradition, and that's what Sam Pittman's done.
Exactly.
And these boys, man, they may not be like his 100% recruits, because I give him another year. If he's getting his recruits in another year, and he's doing this with Chad Morris's recruits, like this dude is gonna, it's just unreal.
I'm with you, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. You could not have paid me to watch an Arkansas football game over the past few years, unless they were playing Alabama. Because if they were playing anybody else, even in the SEC, I would have turned it, because it's just too embarrassing,
Well,
and outside of their fan base, I imagine it's that way for a lot of teams. Kind of like a Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, nobody's gonna watch a Vanderbilt
Now,
game.
I'm not saying their tradition is a lot more deep than Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is not Arkansas football. We have a whole different respect for Arkansas football. That's not what I'm saying. But the competitive level, how competitive they were is what I'm talking about. But now, man, I cannot wait until 11 o'clock, or I guess it's 12 p.m. Eastern, because we're in Eastern time zone right now, on Saturday to watch Georgia and,
Speaking of
Arkansas.
Georgia, how has Georgia not jumped Alabama for the number one spot?
They did in the AP poll, did they not?
I've not seen it.
I could have swore they did.
Let's see, ranking.
Could be wrong.
Nope.
No,
Alabama
you're
is
right.
still.
Oh, it was
number one.
I'm sorry, it was the power rankings.
Yeah, power rankings.
FBI.
I
Football Power
personally
Index.
think that Georgia is the best team in the country,
So
the most
far.
complete team. And I'm I love Alabama football with all my heart.
Yeah.
But even Saturday, while I'm putting up a 63-14, you could see those boys giving up.
Yeah.
You could see them once they got up so far, they were just like, okay, whatever. Like, we don't care anymore. We beat you 35-0 and whatever. But it goes to show you, like, it doesn't matter where you're at, especially in that Florida game, man. It just looked so bad with Emory Jones running all over. Emory Jones was running over us. They didn't even have their backup quarterback in, the guy that's leading them in rushing yards this year. They had their first string quarterback, and he was just running up and down the field on us. And I'm kind of nervous about this week. Not gonna lie, against Ole Miss, but
Ole Miss looks good.
Ole Miss,
We're gonna